All right, get ready to dive into the world of ushers. Today we're focusing on how to absolutely crush that interview you have coming up.
You know, the friendly faces who show you to your seats at events. There's way more to it than you might think.
Exactly. And to help us break it all down, we've got some fantastic resources from RoleCatcher. Their career and interview guides are packed with insights.
They really are, and it's interesting how a job that seems pretty straightforward on the surface actually needs a whole bunch of different skills. I mean, you're dealing with crowds, ticketing, maybe even security issues, all while keeping things positive and welcoming.
Okay, so let's unpack this. RoleCatcher's Usher Career Guides highlights that there are actually quite a few different levels within ushering. And as you move up, the responsibilities get more complex. But no matter what level you're at, some core skills are always super important.
Absolutely. And those are the skills we're going to help you showcase today. We'll walk through some.
So you could say something like,
While I worked in retail before, I gained valuable experience in assisting customers, handling their requests efficiently, and resolving any issues. I'm confident those skills would be really useful in the fast-paced, customer-focused environment of ushering.
that's a great example. It shows you understand the role and what skills are needed.
Now, let's say you do have some ushering experience. They might dig a bit deeper and ask, what were some of your main responsibilities in your previous ushering role?
All right, time to get specific. What should you focus on?
Think about the most common tasks in your previous role. Was it mainly taking tickets, helping guests find their seats, managing the flow of people?
You should also mention,
Yes. If you had any extra responsibilities, like helping guests with disabilities or giving information about the event, definitely mention those. It shows you're willing to go the extra mile.
so a good answer might be something like,
In my previous role at, let's say, the City Theater, I mainly greeted guests, scanned tickets, and showed them to their seats. I also helped manage the crowd during busy shows, made sure the aisles were clear, and answered general questions about the venue.
nice. It's clear, concise, and covers the basics.
Now, this could lead to a follow-up question, like, can you tell me about a time you had to deal with a big crowd or a tricky situation?
Ah, the classic behavioral question. They want to see how you handle pressure, right?
Exactly. Can you stay calm? Think on your feet. Find solutions even when things get chaotic. So when you answer, pick a specific example that shows those qualities.
What kind of scenario would really highlight those skills?
Let's say you worked at a concert venue and there was a sudden rush at the entrance. You could talk about how you kept things organized, directed people efficiently, and made sure everyone was safe, all while staying calm and professional.
Or, if you work at a theater, you could.
Yes. Describe a time when someone lost their ticket and you had to quickly verify their purchase and find them a new seat without interrupting the show.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about questions about personality and work ethic.
Yeah.
One that comes up a lot is, why are you interested in this job?
This is where you have to go deeper and show genuine interest. What really draws you to this work? Is it the energy of live events, interacting with people, being a part of something exciting?
Because let's be honest.
Exactly. It seems easy, or I need a job won't impress anyone.
Instead, you could try something like,
I'm really drawn to the excitement of live events, and I love the idea of contributing to a positive experience for the audience. I enjoy being around people and making them feel welcome.
that shows enthusiasm and an understanding of what the job's all about.
And you can even mention specific types of events you're passionate about, like concerts, plays, or sporting events.
Great point. Now, what about the question that can throw people off? What are your salary expectations?
For this one, do some research beforehand. Check out average salaries for ushers in your area so you can give a realistic range.
And don't forget to,
Absolutely. Factor in your experience and qualifications. If you have ushering experience or relevant skills, you might be able to aim a bit higher.
it's important too.
You got it.
Yeah.
You want to show, the industry standards, but are also confident in what you bring to the table. You could say, based on my research and experience, I'm looking for a salary between lower range and upper range. I believe my skills and dedication would make me a valuable asset to your team.
Okay, let's tackle a question about your long-term goals. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This isn't about having a set 5-year plan. It's about showing ambition and how this job fits into your broader career goals.
So how should you approach it?
Think about how this position could be a stepping stone. Maybe you're interested in event management, customer service, or a career in entertainment.
For example, you could say,
I'm really keen to get experience in the event industry and develop my customer service skills. In 5 years, I see myself potentially taking on more responsibilities and contributing to even bigger events.
that shows ambition and a desire for growth.
Exactly. It suggests you could become a valuable long-term asset.
Okay, we've covered a lot. But before we move on to more challenging questions, let's talk about how RoleCatcher can really boost your interview prep.
This is where it gets really exciting. RoleCatcher's AI tools take things to a whole new level.
Tell me more.
Imagine having a virtual coach who can analyze your interview answers and give you personalized feedback. That's exactly what RoleCatcher's AI does. You practice your answers and it tells you how you're doing what you're saying and how effective you are.
So it's like having a secret weapon.
Exactly. And the best part is it's tailored to specific jobs. So for an usher interview, it gives feedback based on what matters most for that role.
That's incredible. It's not just generic advice. It's specific to the job you want.
You got it. And they also have a CV resume builder that uses AI to help you create an application that really stands out. It highlights your most relevant skills and experience.
Wow, that's like having a personal resume writer.
Exactly. These AI tools can give you a huge advantage. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive into tougher Usher interview questions and explore even more ways RoleCatcher can help you ace that interview.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. Just before the break, we were looking at how RoleCatcher's AI tools can help you build a fantastic resume and practice those interview answers. It's almost like having a personal career coach right there in your pocket. But let's get back to those interview questions.
You know, as we go through these questions, it really hits me how ushering involves dealing with unexpected things all the time. It's not just about showing people where to sit. It's about thinking quickly and staying calm when things get tough.
Absolutely. And interviewers are definitely going to want to see if you can handle that. So let's say you're interviewing for a more experienced usher role. They might ask something like, how would you handle difficult or unruly guests during an event?
Okay, they're not pulling any punches. How do you even start to answer a question like that?
Well, first, you acknowledge that dealing with difficult guests can be tough, but then you quickly move on to highlighting your ability to stay calm, professional, and focus on solutions.
So instead of getting flustered.
Exactly. You want to show that you can de-escalate a situation while still making sure venue rules are followed and that everyone can enjoy the event safely.
Could you give us an example of how to structure an answer to that kind of question?
Sure. You could say something like, in a previous role, I had a guest who refused to follow the venue's bag policy, so I politely explained the policy to them and offered to check their bag. They were a little frustrated at first, but I stayed calm and empathetic, and in the end, they agreed to check their bag and had a great time without any further issues.
That's great. You showed you could handle conflict smoothly and enforce rules without things getting out of hand.
Now, let's say they want to see how you handle even tougher situations. They might follow up with something like, what would you do if a guest became verbally abusive or aggressive?
Oh, that's a tough one. What's the best way to answer a question like that?
Honesty and focusing on safety are key here. You could say, if a guest was being verbally abusive or became a threat to others or themselves, I'd immediately follow venue protocol, which could involve getting security personnel to help. My main priority is always the safety and well-being of everyone at the event, guests, and staff.
That shows you understand how serious it is and that you know how to prioritize safety and follow procedures.
Okay, let's change gears for a minute and talk about a question that's all about efficiency and problem solving. Imagine you're going for a more senior usher position. They might ask, how do you make sure guests can move around easily during a busy event?
So it's about thinking ahead and spotting potential problems before they happen.
Exactly. They want to know if you can plan, manage crowds effectively, and ensure everyone has a smooth, positive experience.
What would a really good answer to that question look like?
Share a specific example where you anticipated a potential bottleneck and came up with a solution. You could say something like, during a sold-out theater performance, I noticed the line at the main doors was getting really long, so I opened up some extra entrances and directed guests to less crowded areas that made sure everyone got to their seats on time.
That's a great example. It shows you take initiative and are a problem solver. You're not just waiting around, you're actively looking for ways to improve things for the guests.
Now, what if they ask, how would you handle a situation where someone lost their ticket?
That feels like a real-life scenario that could happen anytime. How do you solve that kind of problem quickly and with empathy?
First, acknowledge that losing a ticket can be stressful. Then outline the steps you'd take to check their purchase and find a solution.
So instead of just saying they need to buy a new ticket, you should.
Right. You want to show you're willing to help them out? You could say, I'd start by reassuring the guest and ask for their name or any details that could help us find their purchase in our system. If we can confirm it, we can usually issue a replacement ticket. If not, I'd see what other options there are, like checking with the box office or if there are any spare seats.
That shows you're resourceful, you care, and you're dedicated to finding a solution, even in tricky situations.
Now let's look at a question about your attention to detail and making sure the event space is welcoming. A mid-level question could be, how would you make sure the event space is clean and well-maintained both during and after an event?
It's all about showing your organizational skills and proving you go above and beyond to maintain a great environment, right?
Exactly. It's about being proactive and taking pride in your work. Instead of just saying, I clean up spills, try to highlight a more systematic approach and your commitment to keeping things clean.
So what would a really good answer sound like?
You could try something like, in my previous role, I set up a system for regular cleaning checks during events. This ensured restrooms were stocked and any spills or messes were taken care of quickly. I also make sure to check for any potential safety issues, like loose wires or things blocking walkways. And after events, I supervise the cleanup crew, making sure everything was back in its original condition.
That shows you take responsibility for the event space and want to make sure everyone has a great experience from beginning to end.
Now let's think about a question that might come up in a senior level interview. Imagine they ask, how would you deal with a medical emergency during a busy event?
Wow, that's a high-pressure situation. It's all about staying calm and acting fast, right?
Absolutely. They want to see if you can think clearly under pressure, put safety first, and follow procedures effectively.
So what kind of answer would really showcase those skills?
You could say something like, I once saw a guest having a medical emergency during a performance. I immediately called emergency services, clearly explained what was happening and where we were, and helped clear the area so paramedics could reach the person quickly and safely. I also made sure to keep other guests informed and calm while we waited for help to arrive.
That's a great example. You handled a crisis with composure and efficiency.
Now, let's talk about a question that can be a bit tricky. What are some of your strengths and weaknesses when it comes to this job?
Ah, the classic strengths and weaknesses question. It's all about being self-aware and honest.
Exactly. When you're talking about your strengths, focus on things that are really relevant to being an usher. Are you a great communicator? Do you have amazing customer service skills? Are you good at handling stressful situations? These are all really valuable.
So for strengths, you could say,
I'm very organized and detail-oriented, which I think is essential for managing tickets and seating arrangements efficiently. I'm also a strong communicator, and I enjoy interacting with all kinds of people, which makes me well-suited for assisting guests and creating a welcoming environment.
those are perfect examples. How do you answer the weaknesses part without making yourself look bad?
The trick is to pick a weakness that you're actively trying to improve, not something crucial for the job.
Like,
Exactly. Choose something that's more about your personal development. You could say, sometimes I can be a bit too focused on following procedures exactly, which can slow me down if I need to be flexible. But I'm working on getting better at adapting to unexpected situations and finding creative solutions.
that's a great way to put it. It shows you're self-aware and you want to grow, which are great qualities in any employee.
Now, before we move on to our last set of questions, let's circle back to RoleCatcher's AI tools for a moment.
Oh, right. We talked about how their AI can analyze your interview answers and help you create an amazing resume. But what else can help people ace their interviews?
One of the best things is their massive library of career and skill guides. You can really dive deep into the usher profession, learn about industry trends, and even check out related careers like event management or hospitality.
It's not just about landing this one job. It's about seeing what's out there and what you could do in the field.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI is always being updated with the latest information and best practices, so you know you're getting the most up-to-date and useful advice. All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our Usher interview prep. We've got a few final questions that'll help you really stand out.
Okay, bring them on. What kind of curveballs should we be ready for in this last round?
Well, they might ask something like, how do you handle working in a fast-paced environment with a lot going on?
Ah, the multitasking question. It's all about showing you can stay organized, prioritize, and keep cool under pressure. Right.
Exactly. And when you answer, think about times you've successfully juggled multiple things at once.
So instead of just saying, I'm a good multitasker, you should.
Yeah, paint a picture for them. You could say, at a recent music festival, I was responsible for scanning tickets, directing guests to different stages, and helping with crowd control. I focused on the most urgent tasks first, kept things running smoothly, and stayed positive the whole time.
That shows you can multitask and handle a hectic environment without losing your cool.
Right. Now, let's say they want to see how you work in a team. They might ask, tell me about a time you had to work effectively as part of a team.
Okay, this is where you show off your collaborative spirit, communication skills, and willingness to work towards a common goal.
Exactly. Think of a time you had to work closely with others to achieve a positive outcome. It could be from a previous job, volunteering, even a group project.
So instead of just saying, I'm a team player,
Yeah, give them a concrete example. Like, during a big conference, I was part of the Usher team directing attendees to different breakout sessions. We coordinated our efforts to make sure things transitioned smoothly, minimized confusion, and provided excellent customer service the whole time.
I like that. It shows you can communicate, delegate, and work together towards a shared goal.
Now, let's talk about a question focused on your commitment.
Oh.
Are you comfortable working evenings and weekends?
This is key, especially in the entertainment industry, where things happen outside of typical work hours.
Mm.
You've got to be honest here, right?
Absolutely. If you're not available on certain evenings or weekends, just be upfront about it.
But you should also.
Yeah, you want to convey your flexibility and that you're willing to work a variety of shifts. You could say, I'm available evenings and weekends except for specific days or times. I know events often need flexible scheduling, and I'm ready to meet those needs.
That's a good balance. You're honest, but also enthusiastic.
Now, as we wrap up, I want to stress one final thing. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
You mean things like body language, making eye contact, your overall presence.
Exactly. You want to project confidence, enthusiasm, and genuine interest. Dress appropriately, maintain good eye contact, and speak clearly and concisely.
And don't forget to.
Yeah, a smile can make all the difference. Show them you're excited about the opportunity and that you'd be a great addition to their team.
All right, we've covered a ton today, from common questions to RoleCatcher's amazing AI tools. But as we finish this episode, I want to highlight a few key takeaways to help you really ace that Usher interview.
Absolutely. First, be prepared. We've gone through a lot of questions. Practice your answers out loud. Tailor them to your experiences. You can even use RoleCatcher's AI to get feedback and refine your delivery.
Second, let your passion shine through. Usher jobs are about more than just tickets. Show them you're genuinely excited to be part of the event experience. Talk about your love for music, theater, whatever draws you to this field.
And finally, don't forget those core skills: customer service, communication, teamwork, problem solving, and staying calm under pressure. These are what make a great candidate.
So go out there and rock that interview. We know you've got what it takes to succeed in the exciting world of ushering.
And remember, being an usher is a gateway to the world of live entertainment, where you can help create unforgettable experiences for people.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring.